So we're chatting with the guys at HAIRitage Barbershop about all of the biggest headlines.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the HAIRitage Barbershop Talk Show. I'm here along with my man, Mr. Tony Harvey. How you doing this morning, Tony?
How we doing? Great there, Rodney. Peace in, peace in.
Yes, sir. Well, today is January 20th, also known as MLK Day this year. How you feeling about this MLK this year, man? We've got a couple of different activities going on, but my main focus is on Martin Luther King Day.
I'm just getting a few reports in there about it, but this is a special day. Always going to be a special day. It's about keeping the dream alive. As far as we as a people and kind of maintaining the scope of diversity as well. We want everybody else involved with this though, but understand a lot of things is going on out here, especially in Sacramento, of course, across the country. So I hope everybody's doing well and participating in these activities with a full day of things going on. As we know, there's things going on the East Coast as well, Rodney.
Right. On the East Coast. Yeah, we got the fires out here. So I want to salute to all those out there that's trying to survive out there. And then we got the East Coast activities that's going on also. And for everybody that's out there that's supporting whatever it is that you support, you guys do your thing and whatnot. MLK today, for me, it like you said, it's the diversity, that being equal and fighting for the fight. You know what I mean? And continue to fight the fight, because as soon as we sit down, and we kind of gave up on the fight. So this is a very important day.
Yeah.
I hope everybody's involved in it and doing what they need to do and participating in whichever portions that they need to participate with.
Yeah, definitely an important day as far as honoring the legacy of Dr. King, and what he stood for and what he died for too as well, Rodney. So hey, that's where we go. And I forgot to bring up the fact the fires that we had down there in Southern California, in Los Angeles, and my love, my heart pours out to all the people in Altadena, outside of Pasadena, Pacific Palisades, and the other areas down there. The people who are displaced and impacted by these wildfires. So I'm really wishing for the best for them, because I know this is extremely frustrating time. That's happening here.
Definitely.
That definitely took us
All
back
right.
a little bit.
Well, let's get started with this HAIRitage Sports Talk, y'all.
Let's do that.
We're gonna start. We're gonna introduce some of our guests that's coming on here today. First of all, I want to pull in. He's coming from the East Coast, as what we just spoke about. He's out of Washington D.C. He's a master barber, entrepreneur, CEO of Go Dandruff. By the way, of Philly, I should say. He's actually got two different NFL teams that he can kind of shoot for, which I don't think he is. I think he's on our team over this way. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Larry Barnes. He's a Niner fan, living in D.C., by the way, of Philly. Also connected with us today, as every Monday when we do this HAIRitage Sports Talk, Mr. Dwayne D. Speed, who's the owner and sole proprietor of D. Speed, the Barber Luxury of Barber Studios. And we got Mr. Ricky Fame, who's going to pop in on us with us. Mr. Ricky Fame is a part of the HAIRitage Barbershop team, a well-known educator, and he works with a lot of different students. He's also a barber. Welcome, Mr. Ricky. And then I want to bring in our favorite Raider fan, who's always under the towel, but fortunately the season's over, so my man's able to poke his face out with that clean skin and say what's up, Mr. Elijah. How you doing? That's our favorite Raider fan, Mr. Elijah. What's going on, y'all? Good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna bring it up to Mr. Harvey real quick. We're gonna start talking about these past games. Um, let's go Lions Commanders. It was 31-45 defense. Uh, they had four for the Commanders. They had four interceptions. Three was by Golf. Golf's throwing passes into team meetings by the Commanders and just giving them the ball. Uh, and we always talked about the Lions defense. Like the Lions defense was like supposed to be one of the top defenses in the league. Was it the injuries or do they need changes after Gibbs had 105 receiving yards? Tony, how you feeling about that game, man? Where's that game sit as far as like the Commanders going forward and having to run into the Eagles in this NFC Championship?
They've been playing well. They have been playing well. I know they went on a little slide, in the regular season right before the playoffs and stuff, but they picked it right back up. They seem like they're really healthy. They got some really athletic people on defense that can make some things happen. The young man, the quarterback Daniels, he's been rolling right along for him. He's doing everything that they asked for him, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And yeah, on the other side of that, you know, those injuries basically just caught up with Detroit because we know their defense is much better than that. So I know I knew when the Commanders had scored 30 points in that first half that they were not going to recover. They were not going to recover
Yeah,
because in the playoffs, your defense has to be on. Your defense has to be on, and they had one of the best, if not the top best defense, the Lions that I'm talking about, in the league. And no, it did not help that Jared Goff was throwing those interceptions too. That kind of set them back. But I'm liking what the Commanders doing. I
okay.
wouldn't say that they're the surprise team or the Cinderella team or anything like that. They're playing playoff football right now. They're playing playoff level football right now. And it looks promising for them. Going into this NFC matchup next week.
Yeah, it really does. Mr. Larry Barnes, introduce yourself, who you are, and give us your outtake since you out there in the DC area. Man, how they
Yes,
feeling
sir.
and how they vibing? Go ahead and introduce yourself, my brother.
Uh, Happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody out there
Happy
in
MLK
Harrisburg.
Day, my brother.
Yeah, and I'm outside of DC, is in Maryland. Um, I'm the creator and owner of Go Dandruff. You can get this in Walmart. You can get it on Amazon. Website godandruff.com. Just spray and brush. Take care of all your ill head issues, skin issues, dry scalp, dandruff, eczema, psoriasis, things of that nature. Now back to football. I am a 49er,
Mm,
and
Appreciate
I'm
you.
originally from Philadelphia. So my
mm.
kids be balling me up. And 49ers at the crib right now. And Eagles is doing good. They played pretty good yesterday. Saquon Barkley is a monster. He's a monster, man. I knew New York want to shoot themselves in the head for letting him go. Um, Washington out here, they real wild out here right now about Washington, man. And that new quarterback, Daniels, he a bad boy. But yesterday the games was pretty good. I thought Lamar was gonna pull it out, but he just can't get over that speed bump, man. So other than that, let's get into it.
Let's go. All right. Welcome, Mr. D Speed.
What's
Introduce
happening?
yourself to the people. What's happening with you, man? Introduce yourself
Man,
to the
what's
people
going on?
and give us your outtake. We'll get a little past the Lions and Commanders. Let's talk a little bit about the Texans and Chiefs. We'll start with you with the Texans and Chiefs. And we know that we talked about this last week about the Texans defense. The Texans, they really threw their average play was 5.2. They was a whole yard better than the Chiefs. Stroud, 245 yards in passing, zero TDs. But you also had Mahomes at only 177 yards, and the Texans allowed five plus sacks. So what we sitting there with this with the Chiefs, man? I mean, and the Texans said that it was some questionable calls during that game. So what do you think?
It's interesting. First off, thank you again for having me. I am Dwayne D Speed. I am the owner and sole proprietor of D Speed, the luxury barber studio, um, here in Sacramento, California, but also mobile. Aside from that, that Texans and the Chiefs game kind of was a clear display of what's been the whispers all of this season long with the Chiefs, which is that refs are making questionable calls in favor of them. I'm not no conspiracy theorist. I mean, it is what it is. If they're bought off, if they're paid, if they're favored, I don't know. Maybe their kids are Taylor Swift fans and you want to go for the KC. I don't get it. At the end of the day, we want to see good football. We want to see like an exemplatory effort like Jaden Daniels made. We want to see two teams just really like play ball, play some hard ball, man. And it's hard to do so when you got the refs kind of influencing the play of the game. That takes the players out of it. That takes the fans out of it, and it's cheating everybody from a dope experience. If you beat me head up. Beat me because you were the better team that day, not because you had assistance.
Really agreeable. Mr. Ricky Fane, what's your feelings? What's your outtake on that, man? I mean, because we had some discussion about how the Chiefs been doing all year. You know, they've been skimming by in a lot of these games, man.
Yeah, man, they got the referees, tied around their finger, man. It's getting so bad to where you got Patrick Mahomes flopping out of bounds and trying to get the personal foul call, but they didn't give him that much love, and I guess he didn't get as much love as he thought he would. But they've been working the refs, man, this whole season, and getting barely by this whole season. As far as I mean, this hasn't been the best year of Patrick Mahomes or Travis Kelce, to be honest with you. And that's why I said this before. I'm gonna say it again that the Bills will be in the Super Bowl this year, right along with the Philadelphia Eagles, man. I believe that Kansas City's probably ran its course right now. It's time for the Bills to finally get over the hump of beating Kansas City. So, yeah, I think it's the Bills' year for the AFC, man, for them to go to the Super Bowl and beat them. If they beat, they beat the Ravens and Jackson handily like they did yesterday, man, they shouldn't have any problems beating KC.
Right, correct. So, Elijah, do you feel the same as far as when it comes to like KC? Like, do you think that KC has the opportunity like to take a third Super Bowl in a row? We've never seen this before, man. Do you feel that, or do you feel that they're about to run into the Bills and maybe the Bills are doing their job this year?
Yeah, I'm still going to go with the dream I had with my godmother coming to me telling me that the Bills was going to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And KC is overrated. They're starting to get a lot of push from the refs, media, everything else we're going on. It's not official yet, but we're gonna cross our fingers. Eric Armstead gets the NFL Man of the Year over Travis Kelce because they're getting blessed and highly favored over nepotism, basically.
Right.
And even on the field, they get nepotism. I'm tired of it. I want to see the Bills in there, and it's time for that to stop.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Harvey, you got any questions for anybody on here, or anything that you may want to discuss as far as dealing with the first two discussions, or even the games that came yesterday? I think you're muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I feel the same way pretty much as everyone else, on here feeling stuff about the Kansas City Chiefs and how they're doing things. And a lot of this stuff has to do with sports politics, I guess, with television ratings and money and Swifties and all of this
Right,
stuff
right,
as
right, right,
well.
right.
I mean, Dwayne pretty much put it out there. We just want to see football. We don't want to see all this extravaganza and all this stuff like that. I mean, and I do want to ask everybody. I mean, I appreciated the fact that we had the snowball bowls on the East Coast. Back when they was
Yes.
really playing football in the weather. You got snow and extreme weather conditions, and people wearing their scarves and thick coats and stuff, and they cheering on their team. That's the type of stuff that I want to see. I don't want to see anybody sitting up in a box, Kate and Clark and all that, and they jumping around and really not even really paying attention to the game. It's all about Travis Kelce. And don't get me wrong, I really like Travis Kelce as a sports figure, playing football and stuff, but it just takes away a little bit about that. But I do just, if anybody want to chime in, what do they think about, what was happening, at least with uh, Los Angeles Rams, West Coast team, but they're playing in the snow. And then the Buffalo Ravens game too. How do you guys feel about these type of games that we don't get to normally see like we did back in the old days, back in the '90s and the late '80s and in the early '70s? I mean, and all through the '70s when we used to see these type of players. That's football weather. That's football to
That's
me.
football. That is
Real talk.
football. You,
It's to touch on what Elijah said. Real quick. Uh-oh.
we lost his
We
voice.
we losing you, Larry. We losing. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
I think your mic is muted or mute. I don't know.
Okay.
Real quick, I'm
Why-
gonna just touch
Go
on
ahead.
what
While he try
Elijah
to figure out,
said.
go ahead, D.
I hope Eric Armstead does get Man of the Year. Like that's first and foremost. I'm not a believer in Travis Kelce of him deserving it this year. He's a phenomenal player, but yeah, work ethic speaks louder than popularity of pop culture. This is a NFL. This is a hard, like these cats out here sacrifice their lives, and I don't know. Sometimes it feels exploited as a pop culture thing. This weekend we got to see an essence of what was the good old days. Like I still envision Walter Payton playing out there in Chicago, running in the snow. Some good running backs. I know, like you said, New York is probably kicking themselves in the face right now. They let that dog and Saquon go, and Philly knew just how to use them, how to work them into the system, and it showed up. Certain people didn't show up. Lamar Jackson kind of was an upset. That I didn't think it was gonna turn out like that. But them Rams, boy, I don't know. It seemed like they didn't come to play.
What's funny is, man, I thought with the Rams, I thought they had every opportunity to take that game.
Yeah.
I even hit Ricky Fame up a couple of times. I was like, y'all in trouble, y'all in trouble. But then all of a sudden the Rams look like we don't even want to play ball no more. Like it's
like
too
they gave
cold.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like it was over with, because you had, like I said, Barkley went for 205 yards, man. And how do you let them run through your line like that? And not only that, your quarterback, the Rams quarterback Stafford went for 400 plus yards,
And you
and
lost.
and
And
you
you
lost.
lost.
I can
And you
I can I
lost.
can I can answer that for you,
And
Rodney.
you
Go
lost.
ahead.
Well, first of all, I have two words: Jalen Carter. That young man was
Okay.
playing phenomenal, man. You gotta see him, man. This whole game, he was getting to the quarterback, man. Every snap, they finally called a holding play on the offensive lineman. I mean, Jalen Carter's been getting held by every single offensive lineman every single game this year, and barely gets called.
Facts.
The holding barely gets called on him, and he finally got his just due on one play. But I mean, the young man is phenomenal, man. He sends signals to the linebacker. He's very in tune with the defense, man. He does his swim moves and adjusts himself. He's very athletic, man, and he's the one that actually caused that fumble that we needed that Rodgers
Right.
recovered.
Against Kyron
Uh,
Williams.
yeah, and also, uh, sack with that man, important sack that we needed at the time we needed it, and he stepped it up and got us that sack we needed to stop Stafford. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
That's
Jalen
true.
Carter, man, the young man has played phenomenal football all season, man. I mean, everybody in the Eagles, I was getting kind of worried because we were kind of dropping like flies with the injury. I hope that Quinyon Mitchell is okay with his shoulder, so he can come back to play next week. he's been also another key contributor to our defense as a rookie. You know what I mean? Holding this down. He went up against every single well-known receiver that has a reputable name in the NFL, and he shut them all down. They had
Right.
one
So,
good
Ricky,
game. Go ahead.
I got a question for you, specifically for you. Now that we know that it's going to be the Eagles and Commanders in the NFC Championship, the issue is this though: you guys got a couple of major injuries that might affect the game, and I don't know if your boy Hurts is going to be able to like get out of the backfield the way that he normally does. Do you think this is going to play a part when the Rams, I'm not the Rams, but your Eagles run into the Commanders and got to go up against Daniels and them? It might be that rookie's year, man.
Man, I got another 2 words for you. Saquon Barkley. Telling you,
Okay,
man.
but you
Telling you,
know,
man.
I believe that. I agree with you.
If we can get our offense as far as the passing together, man, and if Jalen Hurts can I mean, he did take off and run all the way to the end zone for 50 yards. I mean, if he can stay on top of it and not really get sacked as much and really use his feet a little more, we should be okay as far as on the offensive end. Defensive end, my boy Rogers stepped it up, man. Rogers is a veteran. He came in Indianapolis. He actually came back. He was retired. We brought him back out of retirement. We want to play for the team because we seen how we were putting together a super team. And, yeah, man, Rogers stepped it up for us. So
Did you just
I'm
call the
pretty.
Eagles a super team?
Hey,
I know
they're not a
I
super
didn't hear
team.
that.
Cut
I really
him.
don't
All
want
right.
to interrupt. I don't want to interrupt him, but I just heard him say the Eagles are a
No,
super team.
Yeah,
Rick,
we
you
are.
I
did
want a
right.
lunch bet
Yeah,
against
we are.
Washington. I
Yeah,
want a
we are.
lunch bet
Hey,
against Washington right now.
We
D,
are.
I think
I
that
agree
boy,
with you,
that
bro.
rookie, that rookie gonna come and show up. You think, man, they
Washington ain't
showed
got no
you
D,
who they
bro.
were.
Washington
Don't
ain't got
worry
no D.
about it.
That
Hey,
They got
rookie,
no
that
D.
rookie he has failed not to show up all season, except that one time when he
see,
got hurt. I think
bro,
his ribs,
Hey,
but he's
didn't
been
Philly get
zero
beat?
interceptions,
Yeah, you
zero
had more on his
interceptions,
ribs.
zero interceptions, zero fumbles. And get this, y'all got defense over there, but that offensive line knew how to show up. They also had 0 sacks too. That
Right.
that's
offensive line
smart.
knew
That's
how to
smart
show up,
football right
and
there.
they gave
You know,
that boy some time in that offense. And as you saw the game going, he found the little loopholes, and he stepped his little gangster up. He didn't
Mhm.
have no quit in him. All right, Rick, give me a lunch bet on that Eagles game, bro. Let's go.
Let's
smart
go.
football there.
Right.
Hey,
Smart
man.
football.
Larry, we
Right.
got
You
you back
cannot
yet?
make mistakes. You cannot make mistakes, and that's pretty much how they done rolled into this whole thing by not making mistakes. And
Off top. Play
you
with that young
cannot
man
make
if you want
mistakes,
to.
and your defense and your running game have to be on. We're also seeing that too from this team.
We
So,
are a super team.
Nah,
Boss,
yeah.
you're right. Larry, do we got you back? We got Larry's vocals back? Not yet, huh?
Yeah,
Larry,
We
you
no.
still
gotta
can't
fix
hear
your
him.
mic, big dog. I don't know what's wrong with
All
your
right.
mic. I want to hear you.
I think he can hear us, but he's not.
He
His
out there in
audio is
DC.
still
I
not
know they
kicking in.
live.
You can hear us, but we can't hear you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's Larry Barnes, Go Danders in DC by the way of Philly. He's a Niner
There he
fan,
is.
and he don't believe that the Phillies is a super team either. So we'll keep riding this real quick. We got the Ravens and Bills. Tony, Ravens and Bills, 25-27. Lamar threw an interception. And then what about the Andrews turnover that could tie the game at the end, Tony?
I think that was the factor right there. And I know, he's an exceptional athlete. Mark Andrews on that tight end thing, man. I would count on him to make that play, that 2-point conversion, you know, 100 times out of 100 times. So that's just extremely unfortunate that it had to happen with him because that would have definitely changed the landscape of that game. So
Okay, game.
that's tough. That's tough because I was really looking forward to Ravens pushing forward with that though. But like I
But
was
you
just
know
talking,
what's
we talk about the
surprising?
Commanders games. You can't be not making these type of mistakes, and that goes for Mark Andrews too.
It
Hold on to
really
the
does.
ball.
What
Damn. I
surprised
mean, it's like you're beating
What really
yourself.
surprised me was how Lamar wasn't even running yesterday, though. He didn't get out of the backfield too much and take off. And we
Lamar
Yeah,
looked
talked
like he
about
was
that the week
cold.
before that he was taking off
Lamar
too
looked
much.
like he was cold, like he was stiff. Like
Yes,
the way
yes.
he was
Yeah.
moving,
He runs
played
differently
so
in those.
stiff.
See, that's why I like
Yeah.
football. It changes up your
Like,
physical.
man,
Yeah.
you playing that cold, and I'm thinking you from Baltimore. You should be conditioned to
You should
this type
already
of
be conditioned
football. You
more than
Yeah.
played
anyone.
so stiff. I don't know if you got to talk at the training staff, whatever, whose job it was to loosen you up because you was moving stiff and not moving at all. And the mistakes you were making, like, it really kind of showed, damn, this is why we don't really want to bet on Lamar fully. But
Yeah.
now you
Right.
prepared like,
Not in these
I
times.
don't
You
know.
know,
Yeah, I don't know
I
if
just
that
thought
was
this was
just
the
a
year
more
that they was
game
going to push you
preparation.
with this too, but not in these times. I'm not putting my
Yeah.
money on that.
I'm
No,
like,
I'm
No.
bro,
not putting
like
my
So,
money
y'all
on
had
that
there,
anymore.
like,
There
come
was a
on,
couple
man.
times that he could have just took off. He probably could
Is
have
it
had 30,
over?
40, 50 yards or a TD, you know, but he's just
Is it
stiffened
over
up
for
and
is it
stuff.
over for Baltimore though? Like, are they done? Is this the
I,
last time that Baltimore gets this far?
That's a good question.
That's a question
I,
for Detroit as well. Is this the last time they
yeah.
get this far?
Do you need to make changes? I think there's some off-season moves that need to be made by both teams, just kind of for the morale of the team itself. Because when you look at Baltimore, they've been running this trip for the last 3 years, and we haven't seen any better results. So you have to. I don't know, but you got Henry now. You know what I'm
You got
saying?
some
But
pieces. You got a little squad over there that you can really.
so
It's just like some people's cooking. It ain't bad, but it just ain't. It's just
it's
something
missing that
missing.
one spice
It's missing that one like dang,
that
I tell
that
you,
really
you
kicks
should have
that
had that.
flavor in.
You should have had it on point. Oh man, the potato
So
salad was just
we know
Well,
what the
you know
AFC,
what they started off 0-2, 0-3 in the season.
something
yeah.
like that.
Baltimore or something like. I mean, then you fight back, you get back into it, and then towards the end of the season, you let go of the rope. I mean, how much more can they do it? I know one thing:
Proper
if they're going to make a run
proper
for it, they got to start off better. They got to start the season off better
Yeah,
in
so
proper
you can have some
2025.
room
preparation
for
prevents
mistakes.
poor
Yeah.
performance. That's exactly
Yep.
what that was. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Y'all to prepare correctly in the show.
Exactly.
No, they
So we
didn't.
know at the AFC we're gonna have the Chiefs and the Bills. We know the NFC we got the Commanders and the Eagles. Let's do our predictions, y'all. AFC, who y'all got? Who's coming out of
Bills.
there? Bills. I say
I got
Bills.
Bills.
I got to go with the Bills, man.
Bills all
I'm getting
day.
tired of this KC stuff. This madness has to end right now. I'm going with the Bills.
Right. This is the year. What about you, Ricky? You say AFC.
Bills, man. I've been saying that for about the last 3-4 weeks, man. They're gonna make it to the Super Bowl, man.
Right. What about
Bills.
NFC? Well, we know who you're gonna say in the NFC. Eagles. If you don't get that out of the
You don't
camera,
even have to say it.
Hey,
He
he bought he
flashed
bought
that
that
up on the
hat. He
screen
bought that
for us
hat at the
too.
truck stop. He just passed.
Flash it, Rick.
he
Flash it up. You ain't got to say nothing. We
That hat
got
been in the back of the car for hella long. Don't even
yeah,
take
that's
that dusty
he
ass
that's
riding
his
hat.
around
youth hat.
town with
Take that dusty hat off
Hey,
your head.
get that hat off the screen. That
Hey,
old
okay. Nah,
1984
he
Eagles
got that
hat
hat. He
weird.
got that hat at the liquor store in the
Hey, it's gonna
neighborhood.
be a Bills.
It was hanging up.
Hey,
He was like, "Let me get a 50
hey,
hen and let me get that eagle hat right there,
hey.
clean
I
over.
need an
I'm gonna
Eagle
kill
hat.
him with this one."
It's
My
gonna
bad,
be a
bro.
championship.
My,
It's gonna be a Super Bowl championship hat too. So
Right, who
hey,
you
you know
got, D
what?
Speed?
Huh?
Who you got?
Man, you
NFC.
know what? I'm not. This is no discredit to Saquon Barkley. This is no. I love him. I love like physical
you
running
about to
backs
give him
with
this
speed.
credit right now.
Hey, brother, nobody asked you. Your name ain't D Speed. Now,
Hey,
put your hand down. That's why you
yeah,
ain't
it's
on
my
the camera
turn.
right now.
Now it's my turn.
Washington. Hey, boy, I take
Right.
Washington Commanders over the Eagles and Rick's lunch bet
Washington.
only. How about
All
that?
right, Elijah. Who you got? NFC.
I'm taking all $100
I'm
bets.
gonna say I'm gonna say like I said weeks and weeks and weeks ago. Mr. Daniels got no fear. Doug Williams is coaching him. It's gonna be the Commanders. Sorry, Rick.
That's all good.
Don't say apologize.
Put your
You don't
put your money
Don't
apologize for
report.
telling the truth.
You got a
put
super team. They'll be back next year.
put
Hey, who you
Oh
got,
man.
Tony?
put your money where your
Well,
mouth is.
I've definitely got to ride with the young man in the DC area in the district, man. I'm riding with
Okay.
Man,
Washington on that, man.
I need to
Rick
tell
been
All
you.
right.
Tracy City.
I'm just going by the way they playing, man. They playing,
Exactly.
I need I
you
need
know.
I need to place a bet with everybody.
Hey, I bet we'll talk about it off camera. I got you on something, man. We'll talk about it off camera.
Off top.
20 grand. We'll do 20 grand. It's all good.
I want
Hey,
your money.
hey,
You want
hey,
Y'all
my
playing
money.
hey.
Monopoly money or something?
We got Monopoly money.
I want that same bet
Well,
Legendary won.
shoot,
I
who
want
bank
that
account
same
that
bet.
fat? Who got a fat bank account like that right now? Could you please tell me? Because hey, of course I'm not going that high on that. Fool's goals over here, but I'm definitely going with the Washington Commanders, man.
20,
I have to
20,
ride with them.
20, 46.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna call. I'm gonna call the Commanders.
I'm counting this money up.
You on mute. You on mute.
20, 40, 60,
Um,
80, 100.
the only reason I'm gonna ride with the Commanders on the way out, I had Philly and the Bills in it, but I'm going with the Commanders. Is a couple of reasons. One, y'all got some injuries to some major important positions. And Daniels looks he's ready, man. You know, he's ready to go now. So,
Lost Saquon's
go ahead. You got 1 last word, and then we got 2 minutes, and we.
I'm pretty much riding. Philly's secondary sometimes be suspect to me and stuff like that. That receiver, what's his name, McLaren on the Commanders.
Yeah.
He's pretty strong, and he got some breakaway speed too. There, he get up in there, and you start making some damage on there. That's gonna be a problem. And Jaden Daniels really good at finding him in them seams. So we're gonna see what happens.
There's gonna
We're
be.
gonna see what happens.
That's the man to watch.
And I'm talking about the air game now.
Better watch out for big play Slay back there. You can do it. You can pass if you want to.
All right, you can't cover everybody back there.
All right. So
we got enough though.
We didn't pull
It'll be a really good game though. As much as we talking about this, we zeroed in on this. That is going to be the game.
That's gonna be a
great game.
Yeah, we want KC to lose, of course, but
yes,
to watch.
please.
I'm not even going. Only KC I want to see is KC match.
It feels like I'm in a room full of 49ers and Raiders
fans.
You are. Welcome.
Enjoy.
Well,
welcome to the room, my brother.
Y'all be watching.
I tell you, Rick, I'm a diehard Chicago Bears fan, but yeah, the Raiders are my West Coast team. I'll be honest.
You guys be watching this on the dock of the Bag Fish.
Hey,
I want to ask you this though.
Hey,
okay.
like grandma used to say, it's room on this floor. Come on, sit down.
Never in my life.
Keep talking.
Hey, we can all agree upon this though. Can we all agree upon that our Sacramento Kings are playing very well up under Doug Christie and what he has won and what he's invited into them? How y'all feeling about these Kings? How they've been in the last 11, 12 games or so?
Well, you let me kick that off. You know, I was there last night.
Mr. Harvey was there last night. I'm gonna let him report.
I was there last night to, watch them beat the Wizard 123-100. Yeah, and that is Doug Christie now improved to 9-2 since he took over from the Mike Brown, who was fired December 27th. And Mike Brown's record was 13-18 at the time. Psychologically, Doug has turned this squad around. I mean, we was looking at all these issues that were happening, and I just want to make it, I'm just bringing it up. I was in the building when we were talking to Mike Brown before he was fired. As soon as we leave the building, I get these notifications that he's gone. So he was did wrong, but he's still walking away with $20 million. But Doug Christie has these young men thinking they can make the playoffs and they can go deep into the playoffs. But first, they got to, do things one game at a time. They did have a little 7-game winning streak. That was ended in Milwaukee. Now they got a 2-game winning streak going on. What was that?
What was it? What was the story behind Mike Brown? My bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You know what? Man, that's a good one, Dwayne. Honestly, and I'm just talking, journalistically, he lost control of that locker room, man.
Okay.
Whatever it was, they stopped believing him. The message wasn't coming through, and then, he come in front of the media. I keep telling them to do this. They don't do that. They don't do this. These cats, man, they make it $20, $30, $40 million a year. They don't want to hear all of that. We just trying to play ball. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just like one time, because if anybody familiar with Keon Ellis, one of their top reserve, but definitely one of their best defensive players. There was a couple times that Mike wasn't even using him right. You know, they lost the game to Indiana Pacers. It was 52-52 at halftime. Okay, they got blew out in the second half, 72-40 or 30 or something like that in the second half. Keon Ellis didn't get into the game until garbage time. You're one of your best defenders. We knew that was a problem. That was when they was on that 5-game losing streak. Okay,
Gotcha.
and that 5-game losing streak was occurring at Golden One Center. They were at home when that stuff was happening. So something was bound to happen. Then y'all know, they lost to the Detroit Pistons on a 4-point play at the end of the game when De'Aaron Fox fouled Jaden Ivey. Okay, that was the last game of that 5 home game stand. All right. And that was Mike Brown's last game, period. Time to go. Okay. I love Mike Brown. He was really great with us and stuff like that. Remember, he was the one who came in and took the team to the playoff when they didn't make it for the 16 previous seasons, which was kind of crazy. He comes in there and he breaks the code and he get him there. But somewhere along the line, he lost control of that locker room, and that's where we are right now. Okay. Y'all know Doug Christie he's retro. He played with the Kings 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. Okay. He knows the spirit of this town. He knows the organization.
Tap out.
Hey, they're on the roll.
Kevin Garnett said something about that. And Kevin Garnett, and I think it's right what he said. Like when you said that he lost control of the locker room, it was because the trust wasn't there. And the thing is, Doug Christie has probably worked out every one of those guys there, so he knows their strengths and weaknesses and when to play them. And that's what he did. All he did was just move some things around and play to the team's strengths. That's all he did.
Right. I agree. Well, I thank you, gentlemen.
I appreciate it. Like every week.
Yes, sir.
We're going to do this every Monday. Next week.
Please come on back, fellas. Please come on back.
Definitely.
Sacramento, you guys make sure you join us. This is another episode of Heritage Sports Talk with my boy, Mr. Tony Harvey, Mr. D Speed, Ricky Payne, and our favorite Raider fan under the towel, Mr. Elijah. Once again, we thank you for joining us on Heritage Barber Talk, our sports talk by barbers and more. So until next week, love one. And that's what it's all about, y'all. Until then,
love, peace, and solidarity, my friends.
I want my lunch, Speed.